Very good. Thank you very much. I'm Leo McFarland. I'm the President and CEO for Volunteers of America, Northern California, Northern Nevada. And today, many of you have met 40 very brave and compelling individuals who have transitioned from homelessness to independence, or who are on the verge of graduating onto a new path of self-sufficiency with the intent of never becoming homeless again. I believe it takes great courage to bare one's soul to strangers, so thank you, all 40 of you, for being here today at this event. And I want to shout out to Jeff, not Jeff Harris, but Jeff, who shared with me today his 7-year pin. Jeff went through one of our programs and is celebrating 7 years of sobriety. Jeff, you know who you are. Congratulations. You know, for a little perspective, today there are more than 1,200 men, women, and children who are currently living and working in a VOA program. These 1,200 individuals are working on each of the issues that led them into homelessness. And the good news is that they are on a path to success, just like the 40 folks that are around the table with you today. In addition, there are 850 senior citizens living in one of our affordable housing projects today. And every day the theme in our programs is that love starts here. And it's appropriate that you have all made an effort to join us today for our 17th annual Shelter from the Storm breakfast. 17th breakfast. And I've seen some of you here every single year. Thank you. You know, love definitely starts here with our supporters and our partners, and each of you who have supported us on our ongoing mission through your investment of time, money, and volunteerism have directly helped men, women, and children like these folks who joined with you today. And weren't those kids just terrific, the little kids? There's a particular program that they're residing in right now, and they greet you like that every time you visit. They're wonderful children. Thank you, guys. I also want to thank some of our electeds again. Susan Frost from the Sacramento County Board of Supervisors, Mayor Darrell Steinberg, City Council members Jeff Harris and Rick Jennings' wonderful wife, Cassandra. All of these folks have been the catalyst for change in our community. We are all working together, providing solutions to end homelessness. This year, with major support from Sacramento County, we saved the Mather Community Campus from closure, saving over 400 individuals from homelessness. And in December, Sacramento City Council approved the establishment of the Low Barrier Winter Shelter, serving over 200 of our most chronic homeless. These are the homeless folks that have been most shelter resistant over the years. And what makes them shelter resistant is they have spent decades living on the streets, dealing with daily trauma, mental illness, and addiction. And in some cases with only their dog or their cat to offer them comfort and unconditional love. Many people have the misconception that these folks don't want to change. However, we have found that to be quite the opposite. They just had not found a shelter that accepted them as who they are. Historically, they would have to give up their pet or separate from a loved one or a friend that made them feel safe. We knew that we needed to create an environment that welcomes people instead of restricting them. This concept allowed us to support veterans like Dave, who spent more than 40 years living in a tent encampment along the river. As a child, he was verbally and physically abused until he joined the Army at age 18 to escape. And as you can imagine, Dave's service in Vietnam magnified his personal trauma. When he returned to the States, Dave never found a way to feel as if he belonged. He had trouble keeping a job, and his PTSD went unchecked and untreated as he spent year after year battling weather, hunger, night terrors, and lack of health care. The Winter Triage Shelter is the very first time that Dave welcomed help. He is now one of more than 80 people who have been placed in permanent housing since December, and every day that number is climbing. Again, all the credit goes to the terrific staff associated with that program, but really to the city council that stepped up, and mayor, city council members, thank you very much. So for Dave and so many others, providing shelter only scratches the surface of the support, care, and trust building required to build a new life. Our VOA programs strive to help all who enter our doors to move from crisis to stability, whether it's a homeless veteran, a single mother, a foster youth, a young man struggling with addiction, or a senior citizen facing abuse. The one thing they all have in common is that they all deserve love, dignity, and a second chance to reach their full potential. For the past 8 years, caring for our at-risk seniors has been a major focus of our work. An example, Barbara, an 87-year-old retired nurse, 87, sadly needed the services of our senior safe house recently. She, like many of our elders, found herself in dire need of support and housing. Barbara felt especially lonely after she lost her best friend and husband of more than 50 years. Barbara moved in with her son so that she might find care and companionship she desperately needed, but unfortunately, each day Barbara dealt with her son's violent outbursts. She tells us she literally was in fear for her life. Fortunately, we were able to welcome Barbara at our senior safe house, where she had daily support from our staff and community volunteers. With her housing solution in place, our team helped Barbara feel self-sufficient, once again confident that her medical needs would be addressed. Today, Barbara is safe and living in a supportive senior community, but Barbara was lucky. It's been overwhelming and painful to see how the lack of affordable housing has impacted nearly all of our program services. We knew it was time to find a solution. So today we've created an innovative housing initiative that develops an inventory of rental units for our clients to access. What we know is when housing is secured, healing and life-changing work can begin. We have seen this firsthand for someone like Laura, who's at my table today, one of our recent graduates of the Mather Community Campus. Laura is someone I'm proud to have met. As a woman who is legally blind, Laura overcame depression and addiction with the help of our employment program at the Mather Community Campus. In order to provide a better life for herself and her 2 daughters, Laura has been able to receive pre-employment services and job training, and I'm proud to say today she is helping others by her work with the Society of the Blind. Congratulations, Laura. Of course, none of this is possible without all of you. Thank you for the love and support of time and dollars by volunteers and corporations and foundations and generous people like all of you. This year alone, it takes about $2 million of fundraising on our part to help bridge the funding gap between what government services will provide and the true cost of our life-changing programs. That's why today is so very important. You are the reason we are here to help rebuild the lives of those who have fallen on hard times. You are the reason we say yes to all who walk through our doors. So thank you for showing up today and your support for the community, because we really are making a difference, one man, one woman, and one child at a time. Thank you and God bless.